Hello everybody, this is Jacob Winstead, aka LzGaMeR from Evil Geniuses. I'm here doing a weekly review sponsored by evilgeniuses.net. Today we're going to be looking at a Zerg versus Protoss with a really neat, cute strategy that most players don't utilize. So let's go ahead and jump right into game. Alright, so here we are. I'm spawning at the bottom right as, of course, the amazing Zerg. And my opponent is going to be Clash Shu in this weekly review, and he is in the bottom left. I am also really good friends with this guy, so we do practice together a lot. But it leaves up for lots of entertaining type games and situations because we know each other's play style a lot and stuff like that, just with any kind of in-house type game situations. So we're going to do a very standard 9 Overlord. Which is the absolute standard. We see our opponent is going for a fast expand, which this is Tal'darim Altar, 4-player map, so it's pretty standard to see these kind of strategies. You know, like anything other than a fast expand from Protoss would be really creative or really risky, one of the two. So we see my opponent scouted me right off the bat, and one thing that I get from this is I will see this, he scouts me really quickly, right? So I know that he has to be a close position from scouting me so fast. So I either know he's at the top right or the bottom left with this. So I send my drone out to go do a little scouting. I want to find my opponent so I know what's going on. I'm also just going to go for I think I get a 15 pull in this game. Pretty sure. Yeah, there we go. So my opponent scouts me around. He's doing a good job seeing everything that I'm doing, getting that information. So the Protoss goes for Forge first, which, some players, there's multiple ways of this. A lot of Protoss will go for a Nexus first here, and then just wall off with like gateways and stuff, trying to delay while your cannon can morph in time. But he's playing the much safer route, so he goes Forge. But while I see this, and he pylon walls me, right? So he blocks me from taking an expansion. So you know what? If you can't beat him, you just join him, right? So here we go. I'm throwing down a hatchery at his expansion. And some players like doing the evolution trick, right? So you cancel the hatchery, turn it into an evolution chamber, and it'll also delay, right? But the problem is it's off of creep, so it's losing health pretty rapidly, and it dies much quicker than a hatchery would if you just let it keep building. So here we are. I'm doing double extractor trick, so I can do a lot of things. One, I'm getting my queen producing, as you see, 20/18, and I'm also producing 6 Zerglings right off the bat. So with these 6 Zerglings, I want to obviously kill this pylon, blocking me from taking this expansion as soon as possible. As we see, I really don't have the money yet to make an expansion, but by the time the pylon goes down, I actually will. So if we look back at Clash Shu's base, he threw down 1 photon cannon and 1 gateway. Most players actually play this way, where they only throw down 1 cannon, and they're expecting me to cancel this hatchery any second because it's a huge investment, right? It's 300 minerals going directly into this hatchery. But I'm sending my 6 Zerglings around, and I don't have any plan to cancel this hatchery at all. Even if I let this finish, and I will 90% of the time, the creep delays the expansion from going down from the Protoss even longer, right? So while it is an investment for me, think of how much damage it's actually doing to the Protoss, right? Because it's forcing him to play on 1 base, but he opened with like a forge, so his tech and everything else is much slower than if he just played off of a gateway opening. So I killed a scouting probe that was lying around my base. And I timed this, which I kind of missed a little bit. But when I timed it as the broodlings spawned from killing the hatchery, attacking with the Zerglings from all sides. And so it just made for a really nice timing to where I killed not only the cannon, but I also have all these Zerglings in this base, right? And this is where I'm just getting a huge advantage from. Because even if I'm not killing a lot, which I'm killing a couple here and there, it's forcing him to lose mining time because he's having to pull these workers off over and over again to fight with. As we see right now, his income is just like nothing at the moment. Like it's compared to mine. Like he has more workers than I have, but if they're not mining, then it doesn't do much good. And while this is going on, I'm doing nothing but making drones. I have nothing in mind but gaining a big advantage. And by just running around here, I'm gaining an advantage because that is a lot of probes that's chasing me. That's a lot of missed mining time that he is actually using right there, trying to just fend off these Zerglings. Because the longer these Zerglings are here, the more damage I can do. Like here I am attacking a pylon, doing nothing expecting I'm not expecting to get that pylon. I'm just expecting him to have to pull probes to fend this off. So just continue running around with my Zerglings. While we look back, I'm just droning up. I have double gas taken, so I plan on doing a Muta build, right? That's what I'm planning on transitioning into. Because he's so late getting his expansion up and getting everything going for him, then it just makes this Muta type play that much stronger, right? Gives me complete map control and no real negative side about it. So I scout and I see he made a Nexus. Now that's really important for the reason, if I saw that he didn't make a Nexus, then I would have wanted to throw down maybe a couple extra spine crawlers quickly, right? Because it could be a 4-gate, or it could be he ran out and hid gateways somewhere, because I did see a Cybernex core a long time ago. So you always have to kind of cover your bases or cover your tracks. Again, these Zerglings are still in his base at the 8-minute mark and still killing. I think I get one last probe. Yeah, I think that's probably the last probe I'll get. But if we count of how much damage I've actually done, I mean, I've killed 10 workers. So that's, I would say that's pretty huge. So we look back, I have my lair going, injecting about, etc. Still running around with these lings, because the longer I can keep him alive, the longer I can get a vision of maybe what he's trying to do. You know, maybe if I saw a double Stargate thrown down, I wouldn't have went Muta, for example, right? I would have went for Infestor, or maybe even Hydra, just depending. So I did see a Sentry, so now I'm just throwing down another Spine Crawler. So I just don't want him to be able just to run, you know, a Zealot through without taking any damage or anything like that. I want to make sure I can try to deny scouting as much as possible. Here's something that I really like doing on big maps. This is what I consider a big map, right? Tal'darim Altar, it's a huge map. There's tons of expansions. And one thing I like doing is when I'm playing Muta and I'm playing the counter style or the masked Muta Ling style, Muta Ling Baneling, any combination of Muta, I like expanding far away, right? So I'm taking the top left expansion and the top right expansion. And the reason for that is it's going to spread the Protoss thin later on into the game. So if the game makes it to the point where, you know, he needs to do these attacks, well, if he sends half his army, then I could be able just to kill his army with my force, right? If he sends his whole army, then he's vulnerable for a counterattack. But see, if I would have took 2 expansions up both like at the top right and then let's say the natural of the top right, well then if he would send his whole army there, I would have lost 2 bases instead of only losing 1 if I split my expansions apart, right? So we see that he does have a scouting probe. He sees that I did not take the expansion. I didn't even kill the destructible rocks. I do have some spine crawlers because pretty much if I don't die here, I feel like I'm in a really good position. I do have some speedlings running about. I think I'm going to kill the destructible rocks, which I must say that's like the thing I hate most about this map is actually the destructible rocks. It's pretty annoying when you want to take a fast third, maybe versus Terran or Protoss, and then you really can't. So my Spire is about 99-ish% done. And I'm instantly saving minerals up in gas. As we see, I have a lot more gas than minerals, of course. Probably because I threw down these extra expansions. But those are going to kick in much later and give me that big advantage that I really want. So here we have my Mutas building. I already have my Zerglings. Again, I'm taking more expansions. There's no reason at this point not to expand, because once your opponent sees Muta, he's not going to be able just to attack unless it's going to be an all-in, right? Which is the reason I already have some spines thrown down or anything like that. So I have my Zerglings going down here. Maybe to scout around a little bit, just make sure what's going on. I send a Zergling in. It's always good to see what they have. Of course, I see the Cybernex core being chrono boosted, and I also see a warp gate. So that could only mean one of 2 things. One, air weapons, which in this game is not the case because our opponent played pretty standard. He just went to a gateway composition. Or it could mean hallucination, which is what happens here. So I scout around. I see that he has lots of cannons. I don't really have any reason to fight that, but this is what I want. This is the best thing you could target with your Mutas right initially, right? Killing these sentries is so huge because what it does is it's going to delay any tech they could do later on in the game because of the fact that sentries are just gas guzzlers, right? It takes 100 gas per sentry, and they die really quickly to Mutas. And the thing about them is a Protoss army that doesn't have sentries in their army composition can't beat a Muta Ling Baneling army just because of the sheer power of Banelings. So now I'm just making drones. I'm sending drones to all my expansions. I have all my gases running. That's a top priority when you take expansions playing this Muta style, is get as much gas as you can right off the bat. So now I've got a really big flock of Muta, and it's looking pretty slim. Like Protoss really needs a fast third versus this style, but from the damage that I left him in, kind of the rubble I left him in initially, he just wasn't able to get the army or economy to muster it up. So here it's like, I just attack with my mutas, kill off the final sentry, and he's just like, all right, he's already scouted. I had at least 4 bases, and there's no way he can defend it, and he calls GG. So that's that, pretty much. So I hope you guys liked this replay review. I am Jacob Winstead, a.k.a. LZGamer from Team Evil Geniuses, and this is brought to you by evilgeniuses.net.